Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. I have a question for you. Do you have a movie where if it's on TV, you will always stop to watch it? My movie is Jaws. I can never get enough of Jaws. So today I have a Jaws statue right in... It's not Jaws? Hey, my name is Mr. X with the Extreme Channel, and today we're looking at the shark from Little Neat... King shark? Who the fuck is that? Okay, well, wherever he's from, I'm definitely going to need a bigger shelf. See what I did there? As the Extreme Channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Today we're looking at a custom DC comic, right? Okay, King Shark statue. So if you're unfamiliar with this character, King Shark is a fairly new character to the DC world. He was actually brought into the comics in one of the Superboy issues, and he fought against Superboy, and then later worked with Superboy on one of the first Suicide Squads. But most notably, a lot of people know him from the WB's Flash. He was portrayed here, and he looks absolutely badass in my opinion. And then he made another live-action performance in Suicide Squad 2, which I quite enjoyed that movie actually. Totally different character, voiced by Sylvester Stallone, although he didn't really say much. He's also been in a number of animated series, but of course, like I said, his basis is from the comic. So he is actually from Hawaii. He is the offspring of the shark god. So he's King Shark, he's a humanoid shark. He's extremely powerful. He's actually stronger than Aquaman, the comics say so. His skin is almost impenetrable, it's bulletproof, and if something does happen to his skin, he actually self-regenerates, or regenerates whatever, he Deadpools himself. Very strong, obviously works very well under the water, has like a worldwide sonar detection aspect to him, and he is a tough guy to beat. So he's normally a villain, however, a lot of times he's probably the most notably used by Amanda Waller in the Suicide Squad. She always holds him hostage, whether she puts bombs on him or does something to him where he has to be experimented on. So they kind of use him, the government uses him for evil purposes for the most part, but he is a true villain. He hates people, he eats people. So maybe he doesn't hate them. I mean, some of them have to taste delicious. I bet you they do. Anyway, today we're going to do an extreme review on this. As I said, it's a custom. That means it's a private unlicensed commission. So let's kick it off with concept. Now, what's interesting about this is there's so many different versions of him. There's some comical versions. There's some realistic versions. I don't know what the source material was for this. I'm speculating, knowing this commissioner, that it was just what looked badass, because I think they accomplished that. On the base here, you have what I would almost consider a bottom of the ocean base. Looks very much like an old temple or something of that nature. Maybe he got into Atlantis. You see sea moss or moss growing everywhere, and you have a liquid effect as well. No waves or anything like that. On the back, you see that you have Aquaman's trident, and then, of course, Flash's helmet on the top. So, assumably, he defeated both of those characters. And because he constantly is a prisoner, he's still wearing his fatigues or his prison garb. Arkham Asylum, his suspenders are holding at the side. On the left, he's made a huge weapon, actually turned an anchor into almost an axe. And on the right arm here, he is holding Aquaman's arm. That's how we know he defeated Aquaman. And, that really shows his power. Think about it. Aquaman can go toe-to-toe almost with Superman or Wonder Woman. He would lose, of course, but that really shows you the immense power that King Shark has. I mean, he's even been blown up before and still alive. Now, as you move up, he does have some battle scars. Now, we don't know if these are from a fresh battle. Assumably they are because he self-heals, or if they're permanent scars from something that couldn't heal for whatever reason. Museum stance, just looking extremely badass, and this is an absolutely huge character. And you saw that in the Flash series. I think he was like 9 feet tall. That's why this is only quarter scale, but just as big as 1/3 scale statues. Because, for the record, 1/3 is bigger than 1/4. A lot of people don't know that. God bless our world. So, I think the concept is simple. This is kind of part of their Brawler line. So another piece they have from the Brawler line is this custom clay face that I recently reviewed, as well as a number of other ones I've received and have coming in. So I think the concept is great. I love the Easter eggs of the fallen enemies. They didn't do too much with him in the water, so you don't really know if he's in the water or outside the water, which makes him displayable with other characters. So I think while it's not really exciting, it's still a 4 out of 5 in my opinion. I don't know what I would do different with King Shark. Design, I'm going to measure him because we talk about how big he is. While that was a joke at the beginning, I will need a bigger shelf. I didn't think he was going to be this big. 17 inches wide, which is nice, so I'm assuming it's the same depth. Aquaman's trident probably adds a little bit more to that depth. And then the tallest point is just under, or maybe 28 inches or so. Base is 2.5, 3 inches, so he's 26 inches, which puts him over 8.5 feet tall from a scale perspective, so I think he is scaled accurately. But here is the unboxing and assembly. One box with decent weight, little torn up, but thankfully nothing was broken. It did have an art box that had some other cool things on the other sides, and standard black foam and straps. 2 layers. First layer was just King Shark himself. Second layer was the rest of the pieces. Now, the design is not without its faults. One fault is this moss effect, as you're going to see during the paint and sculpt, looks fabulous, but it comes off. I mean, it's coming off as we sit here. That's horrible. I mean, you don't want this kind of crap all over your statues. Another negative, I did have a break. So this blue chain was broken when it came out of the box. It's going to be kind of hard to glue up there. It's not necessary. I could probably break the whole thing off and no one would know. And I'm actually debating getting out of my quarter scale line of DC characters later this year. I don't know if I will or not. If I did, I would end up selling him, so that might affect the buyer. Now, I'm not selling him now. Do not message me. Do not email me. Do not ask me. I just don't respond to those. All right, so not a lot of different display options. You only have one switch out option. His right arm can be holding Aquaman's arm, which to me is a no-brainer because the other one is just a hand. In theory, you could remove Aquaman's trident. There are 3 small keyholes at the back here, but you probably wouldn't see it because it's in the back. But I love that part of it. Especially since I was getting rid of all my DC heroes other than the Justice Buster. So my wall, which you'll see in the upcoming room tour, will have all the DC villains, and then you'll see like remnants of the heroes. So I really like that. But everything fit well. The magnets are pretty strong. I think they need to be. So I give it a 4 out of 5. The moss is an issue, as well as the broken chain. Paint and sculpt. One reason I love this custom group, I've probably bought 30 statues from them. They are absolutely amazing with paint and sculpt. They rarely miss, and I don't think they missed on this. Check it out. All right, starting at the bottom here. So first an Easter egg. There's the face, and I imagine, I know this commissioner, that's probably something specific. He hides other Easter eggs like that, so I don't know whose face that is. And again, I don't know a ton about King Shark. I kind of shared the knowledge I have with you. But let's look at the moss effect. So you see how it's coming off already? This is more of a close-up other than the picture you saw, but it looks really good. That's the problem with it. While I don't like how it comes off, it does look really good, and I would almost consider this like mixed media. But I love the stone aspect of this. I think it looks really good. They didn't do too much texture, and that gives it more of that temple feel vibe we were talking about. And then the moist glistening effect, translucent resin on the bottom to look like water, is great. I remember when they started doing this with statues about 5-6 years ago. It started to become pretty common. I think it really adds a lot. Now King Shark, his outfit looks good. Not as detailed as the Prime 1 Killer Croc. There's not as much texture, but I like the fading of the light and dark oranges throughout. You can see a lot of creases in his pants and his boots. The laces are fully sculpted. Nice color. And I think some of the times he didn't actually have boots on, but I think if we saw his feet, he wouldn't be as menacing. So I like that they chose that direction. Not really specific to paint and sculpt, but even like the tongue of the boots hanging out. Really nice job on that sculpt. And one thing you're going to notice in this, the paint's incredibly clean. Like for example, here's Aquaman's arm. Really clean with his tattoos. I like that a lot. And even really the only human we have here, the hands, almost looks like a translucent resin. I don't believe it is, but they did a great job with that. Really quick, here is the trident. Looks good, not too shiny. They have some moss falling off of it. Also looks decent. I love Flash's helmet. Really nice looking helmet. You know, typically I don't like it too shiny, but I think here it works really well. And then it's tattered at the bottom. And then where the trident punched through the top, that looks great. He does have a few rips on his clothes. So on the back, what I really like, the continuity is smart. So it's still the dark gray we're gonna look at the top, where you'll see the rips are more of the underbelly of the shark. Now all this is sculpted, but it is a little bit movable to a point. So I think that was smart from a shipping standpoint, although like I said, the chain did break there. Have the Arkham logo on his pants. Then right here is the anchor. I think this looks fabulous, and the ropes twined around it almost look like real ropes. And I love how many colors that are just on this statue in general. You have the browns, orange, black, green, gray, and then it's the pink on the front side. So let's look at his backside here, his dorsal fins. Again, a little bit of scarring, and as we talked about, it could be from a recent battle. It could be permanent scars, maybe, you know, from Superman or someone very strong. But I love the anatomy on this. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Extremely buff, a brawler, so to say, which is what they call this line from that group. We even add a little bit of moist effect to show the fresh wound right there. And then the texture of the skin is not too rhinoceros feel, and I like that a lot. It's smooth, but it still looks hard, so not too scaly. Very smart, and just looks absolutely great. We're gonna look at the portrait last. But his front, his underbelly here, again, anatomy is fantastic. A lot of veinage working through there, and I love the colors they chose. So these different pinks and, you know, almost human skin colors, because remember, he is a humanoid shark, so really well done. And the transition is nice too. While it is definitive, it's not weird. So they even added some gray streaks as it streaked through to the pink. Really nice job. And then again, some moist effect added to that fresh bite right there. Here's his gloves. These are probably, they're not bad, but they're probably the weakest part of the statue. And I don't know if it's the shiny colors they use that are putting me off, but. And then his portrait, absolutely amazing portrait. I love the teeth, the gums, the eyes, the scars. Really nice job. The gums may be a little too big on the top. I would have liked them maybe a millimeter or two smaller. That's being pretty nitpicky. You do see rows of teeth in there, which I think is neat. I would speculate they tried to add more rows, but it got too cluttered, because then they'd have to open his mouth too wide and he wouldn't look as badass. So really well done paint and sculpt. I would never call a statue perfect, and I don't think this is perfect. There's a few areas could have been better, but this is pretty high quality. Let's start with the paint. Like I said, incredibly clean. I love everything they did. It wasn't too much. The skin tones on the shark are fantastic. I give the paint a 5 out of 5. Really, really impressed. Sculpt, like I said, I love the shark part of it. Every part of the shark body, the expression, I think is spot on. You know, I kind of compare these pants to the 1/3 scale Killer Croc from Prime 1 Studio, this one right here, because he has the same pants on. And I think those pants are done better. They're a little more detailed. But that doesn't make these bad. I think it's a 5 out of 5 on the sculpt too. I really hate giving out such high scores, but sometimes I guess they deserve it. Now, is this worth it? They made 50 of these, and they charged $1,100 plus a couple hundred shipping. Now, I think this is the only king shark statue out there, so of course it's rare. They only made 50, you don't have any other options, so this is almost a must character if you have an Aquaman lineup or if you have a Flash lineup in the quarter scale, in my opinion. And $1,100. Right now, that's about the size of a quarter scale XM Studio statue, Prime 1 Studio statue. And this is the size of a 1/3 scale. So I think the value is great on this. I'm going to give the value a 5 out of 5. I think that if I wanted to, I could sell this for $2,000 shipped. I'd have to be a little patient. But yeah, I think the value is absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan of this guy. The problem is when I get like something like this in, and I was like thinking about selling my quarter scale DC, this makes me not want to. So does he have the X factor? The X factor is not a cumulative score. Is this badass? Absolutely. This is a 5 out of 5 statue. I love it. I cannot wait to put him with the rest of my collection. That clay face, I'm still waiting on it to be repaired. It is in transit to come back, so I'm waiting for that and a few other things to do the room tour, which has now been pushed to May. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But throw a comment down below. What movie do you have to stop watching when you see it on TV? Like I said, mine is Jaws. I've watched it a million times. I love every scene of it. I just can't get enough. Throw that down in the comments below because that comment could win you a statue. We're very close to 30,000 subs. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey, really appreciate you guys. If you haven't subbed, sub. That'll get us quicker for the giveaways. Also, if you could just give me a like or give this boy a like, he would appreciate it and he won't nom your head. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Talk to you soon.